Welcome back to another edition of my channel, Wider Perspective. Some of you may also know me on behalf of the channel, Broader Perspective, where this is an up and coming channel and a spinoff of that channel because I'm trying to expand my YouTube audience more and more by creating more channels. I also have more channels on top of that by other handles, but that's neither here or there. In today's video, I wanted to talk about how burnt out teachers are. So burnt out to the extent whereas either a lot of them are contemplating on quitting their jobs or have already quit their jobs due to how so many are becoming frustrated that so many students have such short attention spans. Can you kind of blame the students for not having short attention spans? I mean, because when everything you need to know is literally right within the palm of your hands, due to how the majority of us have cell phones, even kids that's in just elementary school have cell phones. Although at the same time, more and more kids, I don't know if it's just with me seeing to be still graduating high school when so many of them have a reading level of a third grader. I'm talking about fully grown, in most cases, kids who are graduating nowadays, old enough to graduate high school, but yet still can hardly read, hardly write. And I kind of hate it even more on behalf of how, judging from my understanding, none are being taught even the right cursor. When I was in school, though, it seemed to be more so of a requirement. Many years ago, that was. I graduated back during the year 2000. So think about how things have drastically changed along with how old I am since then. And then it also makes me wonder when all these platforms, these educational platforms and voice assistant, AI voice slash voice assistant platforms by likes of Grok on behalf of X, formerly known as Twitter, Chat GPT, Microsoft Copilot, Gemini, Google Gemini. I could go on and on. Do we really need physical teachers anymore? I mean, do we? And on behalf of how you could learn, become able or be able to enhance your knowledge, even as an adult, an older adult, much older adult, on behalf of how there are a lot of educational videos and shorts on behalf of TikTok. Anyways, let me show this content. This is once again, everyone, on behalf of how so many teachers are fed up, so many are also burnt out to the extent where they are quitting in record numbers. Now let me share my screen real quick and pay close attention.
What are you going to do when they're all gone? Watch this.
I ultimately decided to leave because I realized I needed an easier job.
No matter what I try to do, it won't go through their heads.
I called a parent today and I said, just to let you know, your child has an F in my class because they come in and they don't do anything. And then they start screaming. She hung up.
Buddy, why'd you struggle on this quiz? What was hard about it? What was difficult? And they look me dead in my eyes and they say, I'll be honest, I didn't read the passage. What do you mean you didn't read the passage?
School districts are trying to run like companies with the numbers, and it's not the science of education.
Today I walked out of my job. I did.
I have 2 hours left of my school day and I'm leaving because I'm so stressed out. And the students' behavior, their lack of trying, their apathy for school, parents that don't give a shit.
I was getting so many questions after I just explained my directions.
Take out your yellow notebook, turn to page 14, and the kids just stare.
They're crying because they're getting blamed for literally any and everything that children are doing.
I spend 90% of my day managing kids' emotions, helping to regulate them, managing outbursts and behaviors and tantrums.
I spend so much time managing behavior that sometimes I feel like I'm failing as an educator. I feel like I'm not doing the job that I was hired to do.
A few months ago, I did a couple videos showing how so many teachers are now quitting the profession because of the moral decline here in the United States, the issues with technology in the classroom, and other problems that they are dealing with in their administration. There are continuously more videos coming out about teachers saying, I don't want to do this anymore. Things are not the same. And they are sharing their reasons why. And I want to show what teachers are actually saying this year.
This is what we're doing to teachers. It is way worse than most people realize. And I already know what you're going to say in the comments. This teacher's this and this teacher's that. I've been a principal for 14 years. I know this teacher very well. She's a friend of mine. I've seen her teach. I've seen her work with kids. I've seen her do amazing things. I've also seen the struggle that she and every other teacher that I know is going through. We don't trust them anymore. And now I know what you're going to say. Well, we can't trust every teacher. That's true of any profession. But here's what I'm going to fight back on. The solution to having a few bad teachers can't be to not trust all the teachers. Most of the good teachers I know have either already quit or are thinking about it.
Here's another reason why teachers are quitting right now. There are no consequences for students. In the state that I teach in, we can't even legally give somebody a detention anymore. I mean, I've had students in the past that have used the N-word, have drawn swastikas and done like little Nazi salutes in class and stuff like that. And they don't do anything about that. It seems like the only thing that kids have any consequence for these days is if they do drugs at school, or they come to school under the influence of drugs or alcohol, or if they get in a fight.
And can you believe how there are students, judging from what he just said out of his own mouth, who he has overheard use the N-word, and I'm assuming that he was insinuating white kids, white or Caucasian kids, Caucasian being the more technical term for them. Not only that, but I already know for a fact on behalf of the Caucasian kids, on behalf of him, stating how they would get the chance to use swastika symbols, I'm trying to say, while in class. I mean, this is also a prime example of how it's just no holds barred now as a teacher when dealing with students, how unruly and outrageous kids have gotten to the point where you already have to be a babysitter for around 8 hours a day, in some cases longer than that. If you may be a teacher who may happen to also teach during after school care, and then to add insult to injury, you have to deal with kids who are so unruly to the point where they are now using racial slurs while in classrooms, and also, like he just stated, using or demonstrating lewd racial or racist, that is, gestures as well. I mean, how worse can being a teacher get besides this?
This is why teachers are quitting, because you can't punish them anymore, like legally. It's against the law. You can't give them detention. This is what we're dealing with.
I just resigned mid-year as a second-year teacher. The amount of harassment and bullying and the lack of administration support is disturbing. When you have a room full of students who watch your every move as a teacher and seem to have more authority than the adults because mom and dad work in the same district. This has been by far the most unprofessional work environment I've ever worked in. What I thought was supposed to be professional work environment turned into a hostile workplace where I was called abrasive for expecting the students to learn, allowing childish for not knowing an answer when approached by administration. accusing me of something that I did not do. And prideful when administration thought standing up for myself was the incorrect thing to do. When students went home telling things about me that were not true. And you know, that's the scary part. That is the scary part. When a student says things about you that is not true and can ruin a teacher. What do you guys think?
A first grade little girl just slapped my third grade student. And when the line supervisors were disciplining her, she said, "Don't worry, my mom must come up here and take care of it." No wonder why teachers are quitting.
Hi, my name is Melissa, and this is my last day of being a teacher. I've been teaching for 17 years. I've taught 8 years in Missouri, 6 years in Arkansas, and the last 3 years here in California. And
what are you going to do when they're
now? Can you blame teachers for not wanting to teach kids anymore? Can you, as unruly as kids are nowadays, more unruly than ever? And not only that, but it's just a headache on all levels. Like I said earlier, first and foremost, you already are practically a babysitter for so many people's kids for around 8 hours a day. In some cases, longer than 8 hours. Second of all, you have to deal with, and it's even worse being a school bus driver, because I have heard about some pretty horrific stories on behalf of being a school bus driver pertaining to the kids. Due to how a big part of it, I would say, is due to the parents. So many irresponsible parents, and in most cases, parents in their 20s, 30s, in some cases 40s, who may have kids in middle school, either middle school or high school, who try to compete with their kids by doing TikTok challenges with their kids, trying to act like, you know, they're just as young as their kids. Still, that's one, I would say social media is a big part of why, for one, the parents want to still act just as young as their kids and want to, in so many ways, be able to relive their childhood through their kids. And then, like I also stated, second of all, it's all due to irresponsible parenting. When it all comes down to it, the reason there are so many unruly, and excuse me, I do stumble across my words from time to time, please forgive me, so many unruly kids who feel like they could practically get away with everything or anything. And due to how, as soon as they may get discipline at school, while in school, in class, the first thing they want to do is either text or call one of their parents, like the teacher said next to the very last one who was shown, to come up to the school and handle the teacher. When I swear, when I was in school, that wasn't allowed at all. For one, none of us hardly had cell phones. We may have had pagers way back when I was in school, way back in the days. But as far as being able to either call or text your parent anytime you may have felt like you were unjustly punished while being in class or at school, that was totally uncalled for. Anyways, make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I'm out, y'all.